Holy smokes, you guys. WrestleMania Night 2 just went down. I think it's safe to say that WrestleMania Night 2 actually felt like WrestleMania. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Snug Wrestling Podcast. My name is Edgar. I am the host. WrestleMania weekend just concluded. We're going to be going over WrestleMania Night 2 with the Snug Wrestling crew. Mr. Blood, Tommy, and Toxic are all here. I think it's safe to say, y'all. I mean, WrestleMania Night 2 was the superior night, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It was night and day. Genuinely speaking, I think we were all in agreement last night that felt more like a B tier pay per view card last night. Like the matches, the time. I mean, we found out that like out of the entire 3 hour 50 minute show, that literally like what was it, like 93 minutes or 98 minutes of wrestling was what occurred over about 59 minutes to like 60 minutes of ads. And entrances were roughly around the same amount of time too. So on a 4 hour wrestling show, literally like 30% of it was wrestling. It was egregious. The main event, super polarizing last night. Cody and Randy, super polarizing. The card, extremely underwhelming. Every match needed another 5 minutes to get to a third gear and feel like they had definitive conclusions. Tonight, the first two matches, we were in the chat and we were all saying, this is a WrestleMania card. This feels like WrestleMania. Um, Tonight, it was just such a massive difference. I'm starting to wonder if they even need two nights of Mania if one night doesn't know how to track itself properly to feel equally as good. The last time we had a Mania where it felt like both nights kind of stood on their own was genuinely WrestleMania 40. The last 2 years of Mania have just not lived up to a full weekend worth of card, and it showed last night. Tonight genuinely was so good that by comparison, I feel like it made night one look even worse. The energy was different. The crowd was better because the crowd was also garbage last night. But overall, man, what an evening. We're on a 5 day run here straight for Snug Wrestling episodes and shows. We've been going strong since last Tuesday. We have a 6 day tomorrow to finally complete the run for Monday Night Raw's post-show review. And I'm so glad that night two picked up, but I don't think anybody's going to forget or stop talking about how bad night one was for a while.
I'm doing good. I don't really have any like comparisons of the nights. I liked both equally, even though one obviously felt like actual rainy WrestleMania. Holy crap, WrestleMania than the other did. But I still liked both cards, even if one was shorter and not as interesting as night two was. But I'm doing good.
Yeah, overall, tonight definitely felt way more like WrestleMania than last night did. You could tell just right off the rip, right when Oba Femi came out for that first match, that it felt a whole lot bigger than last night did. So, honestly, I'm good with it at this point.
Oh, yeah, man. It was a fucking lovely night, too, of WrestleMania. So much so that, I got and my wife, my daughter, and my son, they were all watching it with me and they were all asking questions like, "Oh my god, what's happening? Who's this? Who's that guy who's fighting Brock Lesnar and this and that and the other?" It was a really entertaining night. Lil Yachty was there. It was crazy. But we're going to talk about all of that. But because it's WrestleMania weekend, we're going to do something different tonight. Usually we go match for match in order, but tonight we're going to start off with the main event. We're going to cover CM Punk versus Roman Reigns because god damn it, this was a motherfucking war, bro, is what I felt like. It was back and forth. It was 50-50. It was unpredictable. My family was asking me, who do you think is going to win this? I had no idea. It was up in the air. It could have been anybody, bro. They had amazing spots, man. They had a great wrestling match. It was a really great main event. Obviously, this was my favorite main event compared to last night's, but we got a new world heavyweight champion, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns defeated CM Punk. And as much as I hate to admit it, I was rooting for CM Punk, but it did not go as I expected. Roman Reigns is a new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, y'all.
All right. First and foremost, by the end of this show, it definitely felt like last night on night one, Triple H was making a point. It felt like he was getting all the TKO bullshit out of the way on night one to show them, hey, they're going to hate this, but sure, we'll do it your way. And on night two, we're going to do it the way that we've always done it without interference. And we're going to show you the difference between both nights. And everything from start to finish of this night, even the lower matches, I think proved WWE's way without TKO is the better way. Even tonight, I noticed less ads. But when it came to this main event, I asked Edgar to start because I wanted a point to make about this. And I want him to post this entire rant that I'm about to go on. It's going to be under a minute so it can go on Instagram. CM Punk, though I loved this match, it was incredible, won early. No one is talking about this. Roman Reigns should have been disqualified the moment he hit him with the steps. The moment he hit Punk with the steps, that was the DQ. This was not a no DQ match. The ref was doing countouts and everything. The ref was doing rope breaks. The ref was doing all of that. The ref also then just randomly gave up on doing the counts at some point. CM Punk then also low blowed Roman, and people are probably going to focus on that. Man, he even went as far to low blow Roman. He was desperate. He still couldn't get it done. Oh, so you can nail me in the head with steel diamond plated steps, but I can't hit you in the balls? Bullshit. You tried to like crack my skull open like an egg with a foreign object. So yeah, I low blowed you. But Roman should never have won. Roman should have been disqualified off rip from that. So technically, Punk should still be champion if we're being honest. It was a phenomenal match. One of the greatest main events I've seen in the last 15 years at WrestleMania. These guys canceled each other out. It was one of the most enjoyable experiences. They were both insanely good, and love the attire being dedicated to the recently deceased WWE workers, the patch for Larry. And even Punk's entrance theme before Cult of Personality played was literally paying homage to his original Ring of Honor entrance music he used to come out to. That was his old entrance theme. So he's remembering where he's come from. Roman had a great entrance, insanely good gear. These guys might just be wrestling soulmates. I thought this was genuinely perfect. Did I want Punk to win? Yes. Am I upset that Roman did? No, because Roman's also never been World Heavyweight Champion. So this was, in my opinion, the best match of the weekend. I don't think anything else this weekend comes even remotely close. This is how you close out a WrestleMania.
I gotta give a quick shout out. Hold on. Sorry, my bad. Tony Stark said, I thought this was a no DQ match because also he was like, what the fuck happened? Like, I thought, hello, referee, but it didn't really go down like that, did it?
No, it didn't. I don't even remember what I was going to say. I was going to say something before that, but that's okay. Reigns bringing back his old theme needed to happen. Not that I didn't like his newer one that he had, like the one that he returned with at SummerSlam 2024 with, but this one just fit his character in the story way more. Plus, I mean, if you can even call him this, we got Thanos Roman 2.0 or Gold Glove Roman, whatever you want to call him. I like that Punk memorized Larry and all the past WWE workers on his jacket. For a second, I thought he was about to just come out with no theme whenever he did the It's Clobbering Time, but then the Cult of Personality hit. And this match was just crazy. I mean, I don't know why I'm stumbling on my words. I took
Wait,
notes.
hold on, Tox. So that was one of the things that I was trying to figure out. the names on CM Punk's jacket, I did not recognize them at all. Did
So
you
they
know,
had
like, what's the story behind that? Do we know that,
yes.
Uh,
or what's the point?
I only got that from Blood.
Yes. So the story is that all three members on his shoulder had recently passed away and were all either WWE directors of talent, WWE producers, and one of them was even a cameraman. They had actually recently dedicated several episodes of Raw to these gentlemen when they had passed away. His back, the crown, was dedicated to Harley Race, one of the people that trained Punk and Punk idolized. His music was dedicated to his Ring of Honor entrance, and he had a patch dedicated to Larry on his shoulder or
What
on
about
his chest.
what about the Puerto Rican flag?
That it was for AJ because his wife, I believe, is Puerto Rican.
Okay, fair
I
enough.
thought that was the Chicago flag.
No, it's Puerto
That
Rican flag.
That's the
Oh,
Puerto
that's
Rican
what
flag.
No,
That's
he
what it was
had a Chicago flag on somewhere else on the jacket. I know that for a fact. It was either on the other
Yeah.
arm or a little bit lower. And then
Someone told me, they were like, "Why does he have a Puerto Rican flag?" I'm like, "I'm pretty sure that's the Chicago flag." And then I saw it, and I'm like, "No,
AJ
that's
is
the Puerto Rican flag."
Yeah, AJ's Puerto Rican.
Nice. Okay.
But
Fair enough.
getting into my thoughts about the match, I'm pretty sure this is the only match that throughout the entire WrestleMania show, like both night 1 and 2, this is the only match that they did something to the Spanish announce table. I mean, just rest in peace, Michael Cole's announce table. The ref just said, "Screw it, no countouts, I don't care." But genuinely, I don't remember the last time I've seen CM Punk do the running knee into the bulldog. I think he's just mainly used the running knee into the clothesline. But I mean, the entire beatdown at Roman Reigns to Punk, I was wondering how could Punk come back from this? And then I started laughing whenever the piece of paper stuck to his back. I was just dying on the floor. But unlike night 1 main event, both didn't need to be busted open. I felt like only CM Punk needed to for some odd reason, but this I don't know why I'm stumbling. I was pause. I was wondering the entire time what this match would have been like if Rollins was in this match like last year's night 1 WrestleMania main event, but that's why 2K exists. But I was surprised Roman won, and I just hope this title reign is not as long as his last one was.
what I love is that during Roman's entrance, there was something that Michael Cole said that immediately made me go, "Oh shit, I didn't count." And that is the fact that Roman Reigns, as of now, has 11 main events at WrestleMania. And even second place, that being Hulk Hogan, doesn't even come close. He is at 8. So that just shows the amount of gap just between the two of those. But I do love the fact that there was some move stealing here. But my biggest thing is exactly what Blood went on an entire rant on. Dude, you're telling me that Roman Reigns can hit CM Punk with the diamond-plated steel steps in front of the ref literally standing right there, and nothing happens? Like, no. That is not how that should work. Punk absolutely should have won that. Even while watching it, I'm like, dude, that's a DQ. How is this match continuing to go on? But there are multiple other things in my mind. Like, for example, the fact that with Rey Mysterio, matches with him are compared to the story of David and Goliath because of the size difference. This was not that. This was Godzilla versus fucking King Kong. That's what this was.
And for that same reason, Tommy, in WWE's defense, I got to come to the rescue and say it's the World Heavyweight Championship, the main event of WrestleMania, so the referee is a little bit more lenient, right? But the other thing too, We have a new world heavyweight champion in Roman Reigns. So the big question is, what gives? What is the landscape now for WWE now that CM Punk is no longer champion and Roman Reigns is the world heavyweight champion of Monday Night Raw?
Also, something I'd like to state here about the match in its entirety. This match solved everything that the actual feud set up. That's why I genuinely think this is a perfect match. Story-wise, story being told in the match, that the story being told on Roman's side, Roman can't do it by himself, right? And then he does. The story, but he didn't do it clean because he used the steps. The story by Punk was, you think I'm some old man to put out to pasture. And he literally put up such a fight. Roman had to cheat to get an edge. Roman literally could not put him down. Punk went until his legs literally gave out and then still kicked out of a spear directly after that, sat up to his knees and just half conscious stared Roman in the eyes. And Roman's selling of Punk just being so hard to put down tells the story of Punk proving I'm not just some old man. This is literally perfect because this is the first time Roman has ever beaten Punk. People will forget Punk has beaten Roman, and Punk beat Roman, Dean Ambrose, and Seth Rollins at the same time in a 3-on-1 handicap match. So people got to understand, Roman finally got his win back, but even though no one ran in to help him, Roman couldn't do it without getting some kind of advantage. The steel steps are a big thing for me here. And the fact that the ref did just go ahead, it's the main event, I'm going to be lenient. Yeah, but the ref was also very lenient in Roman's defense. He was lenient for Roman. He was still trying to count Punk out. Roman had to break the count twice. Punk was only able to get him in the balls because the ref had his back turned. But the ref dead-eye saw the step shot and let it go. So Roman even had the advantage of a ref who was kind of crooked in his favor. And still Punk went another 20 fucking minutes before Roman could put his ass down.
He cheated, bro. He cheated. Roman cheated, bro.
He did.
Calling it right now, dog.
He absolutely
cheated.
cheated. And that's what I love is that fans are going to hearken on the fact, well, because they're going to let the steel shot chair go, but all the Punk haters, and you know who they are, who are Roman Glazers, are going to sit there and go, Punk got so desperate, he got his ass beat. He had a low blow. And Roman, he still couldn't win. Roman literally had to nail this guy in the head and bust him open, and still took 20 more minutes to put him down.
Okay, but you didn't answer my question. What is Monday Night Raw going to look like now that Roman Reigns is champion?
Okay.
Is he going to show up? Are we going to see a fighting champion? That's what I want to know.
Okay, so my thoughts are this. They're simple. If the storytelling remains smart, Punk is going to literally mention that he never should have lost the title because of DQ. But also because Punk is a punk and he's not a bitch, Punk is probably just going to let it go because they went to war. So Punk is going to come out, admit it was the better man. I'm wondering if Punk gets mauled by all the Samoans tomorrow because Roman said, hey, don't touch him until I'm done with Mania. The next night, whatever happens, happens. I'm wondering if that's happening. With Roman, he's on a part-time schedule. I'm wondering how long he holds it. I'm wondering how often it is that we don't see it. And I'm wondering if it's maybe Seth who's coming after him next, because now that Seth's done with Gunther, Braun Breaker's there. Are Braun and Seth going to feud on their way to getting the title from Roman?
Hey, Seth Rollins did say, I never lost that title. That shit is mine. Boys, any predictions before we move on to Femi versus Brock Lesnar?
I think that he does get jumped by all the Samoans, being the Usos, possibly even MFTs, Nia Jax, definitely Nia Jax, maybe Zilla if he decides to show up or if he gets signed, and definitely Jacob Batu. And here's a maybe, probably Rikishi, because I did hear him get pretty pissed. Yesterday I was doing some like digging and stuff, and I saw that Rikishi was pissed. So I could see Rikishi doing that, and then Seth and Braun both going after the title, both having bleh, Roman defending against both, and then that leading into a triple threat: Roman, Rollins, Breaker.
I am also under that same boat where all of the Samoans attack good old CM Punk. But here's the big thing. There's one thing I wouldn't be surprised happened that honestly, I was shocked didn't happen tonight because I was kind of expecting it. As much as I hated to say it because he couldn't finish his last damn story, I thought that after Roman Reigns got the World Heavyweight title, that The Rock was going to come out and at least attempt to set up WrestleMania at Riyadh, since that didn't happen last year. But that did not happen tonight. What if that happens right after? What if CM Punk and Roman Reigns has another face-off, Punk admits everything and all of that, all of the Samoans come out, beat the shit out of him, and then the final boss is the final one out?
Tommy, I know WWE is a fantasy world, right? But also there's a reality to it. I'm more in line with what Toxic said, where he said Seth Rollins is gonna go after it. Braun Breaker is after Seth Rollins. What if we get Seth, going after Roman, which means Braun Breaker going after Roman? Holy shit. That is where the money is. Who gives a fuck about The Rock, bro? Bro, forget about that shit. That shit is...
Toxic, you can say no one. People have been talking about this matchup for years.
Bro, fuck
you
that fucking...
just hit the nail on the head, Tommy. Years. Look, if Bianca and Jade's ship has sailed, I feel like Rock Cody, Rock Roman's ship is definitely sailed. I don't think the fans give a fuck about seeing that shit anymore. I really don't think they do. The Bloodline story's over. The time to do Cody and Rock or Roman and Rock was literally a year ago. No one's going to want to see them set that up for another handful of months. The Rock also cut a shit ton of muscle and weight down for health reasons. So you're talking about The Rock having to get back into ring shape, which is not the same thing as getting into normal shape, and then had the time to promote all this shit while still doing his movie crap. It'll be a story that stops and starts and stops and starts again. We don't want that anymore.
At that point, let's bring back Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H and The Undertaker and fucking Mick Foley, bro.
And we can have a handicapped superstar match between Undertaker's knees, Triple H's heart, The Rock's health conditions, Stone Cold's knees. We can have a geriatric match. Look,
let's focus on the future.
Yes, the future is Braun Breaker and the story that should happen with Roman, Seth, and Braun is that those two are working to put Braun over and turning him into a bigger star and a bigger threat. That should be what that's about. It should be about the future. The Rock is the fucking past. And I got a feeling that even though he's the final boss, The Rock is surprising to see, yes, but he's going to get booed because he represents TKO. Everything that the WWE fandom, if you're not just a casual, fucking hates right now. Bringing him out, sure, it puts asses in seats, but it also might cause some go-away heat because the fans do not like TKO. Last night proved that. So I don't think bringing The Rock in does anything but sells a handful of more tickets. But it's just people are going to go, oh, great, here comes The Rock stealing the shine off of Braun Breaker, the up-and-coming star. No one wants to see it.
Yeah. I mean, it worked for WrestleMania 40. We had a great finish for WrestleMania 40. That was a big blow off. That was cool. But we saw John Cena be the host of WrestleMania, which felt like some fucking super corporate office guy. Didn't really feel like John Cena.
He was even in a suit.
He was in a suit, yeah, and he was like, I'm not running down the ramp. So it's like, okay, if The Rock comes back, he's going to do some shit like that. I don't need to see him fucking do the people's elbow and do all that shit anymore. Anyway, let's move on for the sake of time. Since we're speaking about the future, let's talk about it. Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. The opening match of WrestleMania 42, Night 2. Holy shit. From the lockup, from the very beginning of the match, goddamn, bro, two fucking beasts going head to head in a competitive wrestling match. This was not your typical fucking 2-minute Brock Lesnar match. This went a while and it was back and forth. And Lesnar looked like he was about to get the win on Oba Femi. He hit Oba Femi with a F5 with no effect. Oba Femi, let's be for real, no sold it, but it worked because it's Oba Femi. Oba Femi hit him with the power bomb. 1, 2, 3. Oba Femi got the win over Brock Lesnar. Holy shit. But that wasn't it, y'all. That was not the end of that. After that, Brock Lesnar left his gloves and his boots in the middle of the ring and gave everybody in Las Vegas a farewell. Was this a fucking Brock Lesnar retirement? Is that what this was officially?
That's a good question because it felt like that. And then on the post show, while we were waiting to start, I was hearing them talk about how it was ambiguous. They had Brock Lesnar, future like undetermined in a bar next to his name. So I don't know. I still think we're getting the Gunther Brock match. I think that's still happening. I think they're going to keep him off all the way until end of July, and then we're going to see him get ready for the SummerSlam match. But when it comes to the match, from the lockup, I looked at my brother. I laughed like a little kid, and I saw the smile on my brother's face, and I said, this kid is fucking over as hell. I mean, the energy in that arena that knew this was the right time. This was the guy in the right place with the right opponent. Man, when it's organic, brother, you go with it. And the moment they locked up the test of strength, I told my brother, this ain't going to be a squash match. They're doing the right thing. I think a squash match would have hurt Oba. I think we needed to see him struggle up the hill to beat Brock and prove that he could beat him. But look, it wasn't a no-sell on the F5. It was a semi-sell because he didn't go all the way down. You could see him forcing his way back up, fighting his way back up to his feet. But I don't like Brock Lesnar. Everybody knows that I don't trust him until this Janelle Grant stuff is over. But what I said when he lost is I turned to my brother and my wife and I said, I don't like this man, but I do respect that he did the right thing here. And he genuinely went the entire feud making sure that his sole purpose was to put Oba Femi over. And I respected him because that is how you are unselfish in this business. You do the right thing for the right kid at the right time in the biggest match possible, and you sell for him. And Brock sold his ass off for him. And I got to say, Brock here earned my respect. He really fucking did. And Oba, I hope he's on cloud fucking 9. He deserves it.
I wasn't expecting the match to start with a lockup and a long one at that, but Oba felt like a brick wall compared to Brock Lesnar, and kind of glad we got to see physicality on both sides of this feud. This also felt like the first time I've seen Oba overpowered like this. Surprised Brock got the F5 on Oba. Love the rapid running European uppercuts from Oba, but this felt like a squash match on Oba's side. I felt like Oba squashed Brock because he only got a few. No, Brock only got a few things in on Oba. So, I mean, love that Michael Cole made the reference to Brock's theme song, saying that Oba is the next big thing. I'm pretty sure that's what Brock's theme is called. But I hate the dude, hate what he's done, but Brock shouldn't retire here. If he is to retire anywhere, it is at SummerSlam. And because that was the whole point of Gunther helping Heyman. Regardless of what he's done, if this is truly the end, which I'm pretty sure it is because later on, Cole said that it's done. He's done. I'm pretty sure. Thank you, Brock Lesnar. Even though I don't like who you are and what you've done.
Brock Lesnar, this whole Janelle Grant shit has put you in the hole 10 feet under. But I can absolutely respect what you just did for Oba Femi. Plain and simple on that. He's just that damn good. The match itself, Oba did what Oba absolutely does best. He knew that big man torch, Brock knew that torch that he himself has been holding needed to be passed down. And there is no one better for that than Oba Femi. Someone who, as Toxic said, has not exactly been overpowered as much anymore. The last time he did, it was mainly against Tony D'Angelo back in NXT. And that's like the only real time that's happened. But what I was not expecting was for Brock to take off the gloves and the boots. When he did that, I'm like, wait, no. This is not the plan. Why are you doing this here? Why are you retiring now? So hopefully he's not retiring because he has one match that needs to happen. And it needs to happen in his hometown at SummerSlam against Gunther. That's just what needs to happen at this point.
I'd also like to remark as well, and again, when we're mentioning the Janelle Grant stuff, disclaimer for the podcast, we're speaking in terms of allegedly. It's still an ongoing thing. We're not throwing or defaming Brock Lesnar. This is all alleged, but I can't trust a man until I know the truth. That's all I'm saying. I respect him for what he did here with Oba. It was the right thing for this man's career. But as far as taking off the gloves and boots, for those people out there, the fans there that think that all Brock cares about is a paycheck, that he only shows for this, he was a smart businessman who turned himself into a special attraction and knew the value of what he brought to the table. And I can't hate a man for working less dates and making the most money possible, because if anybody was in his shoes, you'd do it too. At the end of the day, what we saw tonight from Brock was genuine emotion and gratitude toward the fan base that should really put him in a whole new light for you. Those were real tears. He was really crying. He was very distraught, overcome with emotion, a genuine sweet moment with him and Paul Heyman. He kisses the ring and bows and respects the mat. If anybody at this point could say Brock doesn't care about the business, I think you either are a moron, don't pay attention, or you're trolling, because that right there was probably the most vulnerable you will ever see that man. And I love that he didn't try to hide how much it really all truly meant to him. And the fans gave it right back in that building. And thank you, Brock.
No, yeah, absolutely. I find it really hard to believe that this is Brock Lesnar's final match after all of his long career that he's had, everything that he's done. There's no way that the WWE is just gonna just be like, okay, unannounced, not advertised. Not, Brock Lesnar deserves a fucking. Okay, I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this. Something like a farewell tour or something like that. I know he has a lot of heat because of the stuff that he's done allegedly with the whole Janelle Grant thing and everything. But Brock Lesnar has had a 25 plus career in the WWE. A lot of great memories, moments, championships, WrestleManias, the whole shebang. For him to just, okay, I'm gonna have a match versus Oba Femi and that's it. I'm done. I'm not buying it, bro. I'm not buying
Here's the thing,
it.
though. Like, here's the thing, too. This could be three things. One, it could have just been for the WrestleMania moment, because WWE loves those. Two, it could have just been this. He knows this is his last WrestleMania, and he was soaking it in. And three, if this was his last match, could anybody really be that upset about it? He went out on his back, putting over a younger talent, and made a whole star out of Oba. Used all the years of his experience, his aura, his tenure, his legitimacy, and he put all of that behind Oba in an incredibly unselfish way. I'm just saying, let's just hypothetically say they scrap the Gunther match. I would not hate if this was Brock's last match because it was perfect. And he went out in a way that would mean the most to the guy that he put over. It's hard to look at this and then think about Gunther at SummerSlam and sit here and because no one's going to convince me that Gunther retiring Brock does more for Gunther than it does for Oba. Bullshit. This does way more for Oba than it could ever do for Gunther. Gunther's so established, it'll give him a notch in his belt. Oba just got here. It'll put a rocket on his fucking back. So personally, I'm going to be 100% honest here. I love the career killer gimmick.
Yeah.
I genuinely want this to be Brock's last match.
And you bring up a good point. But also, on the other side, if that were true, Oba Femi retires Brock Lesnar. That's one hell of a fucking thing for Oba Femi to have under his belt.
Stamp of approval.
Exactly. Which means after retiring Brock Lesnar, Oba Femi has to go after Roman Reigns, right? Oba Femi's on Raw?
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, it makes most sense. You conquered the beast. You are now the main attraction. You are the beast. When it's a torch being passed here. If you defeat the tribal chief in tribal combat, you become the tribal chief. If you beat a champion in a match, you become the champion. If you beat the greatest of all time, you are the greatest of all time. What did Ric Flair used to say? If you want to be the man, you've got to beat the man. Well, if you want to be the beast, you've got to beat the beast. And Oba did that. And I'd like to make a special point here. Think of all the guys in the last 10 years that have beaten Brock Lesnar. None of those wins did anything for those guys to the level that this will do for Oba. It didn't do much for Drew. It didn't do much for John Cena. It didn't do much for Seth Rollins, who beat him in 5 minutes. It didn't do much for, I believe, who also beat him at Mania during a. I'm pretty sure Braun Strowman might have. But the point is, all the guys who have beaten Brock, Cody, none of those wins mean this much to their careers that they will for Oba, because Oba is new. All those men were established. This means the most because this basically says, I beat fucking Brock Lesnar. You think I'm going for the IC title? Hell no. I'm skipping the line, bitch.
Within the last 2 years, there has now been two massive moments involving Brock Lesnar. You have him here basically retiring right after Oba Femi beating him. And then you've got right before Cody Rhodes won the Undisputed title the first time. The big thing that Cody Rhodes kept saying is that he made Brock acknowledge him at the end of that unscripted hug at the end of that match with Cody Rhodes, which again still didn't really do much for him, but it still ended up working out.
Man, when it comes to, I think matches of the night, I think this next match that we're about to get into, the 6-man ladder match, I think it is up there for one of the candidates of stealing the show for the night. For the Intercontinental Championship, this match was amazing, y'all. It was full of insane spots. Javon Evans too, man, was all over the place. Javon Evans went crazy in this match. He was really in his element. Even the fact that Rey Mysterio was in this match with Penta and Dragon Lee, two guys that really respect Rey Mysterio. This was every man for himself, and they proved it. There was no friends here. Everyone versus everyone. It was an insane match, but Penta retained despite being, facing 5 other guys. Penta overcame the odds, and he is still Intercontinental Champion, y'all. How did you guys feel about this one?
I said it during predictions that I have really missed high stakes ladder matches at Mania. I still do believe that Money in the Bank should not be a pay-per-view anymore. I genuinely think you need to bring the Money in the Bank matches back to WrestleMania because they're such an energizing match to have on the card. The fans were fucking eating this up. These guys were insanely good in this match. I can't think of anybody who wasn't in some shape or form kind of a standout. Maybe Rusev, but even then, he was involved in some of the really great spots. I mean, Canadian Destroyers on ladders, Jade sold the shit out of that. That awesome step pop off the ladder step and Canadian and Mexican Destroyer on freaking Javon Evans, great. A senton onto Rusev through a ladder, great. I mean, the freaking OG cutter catching midair, amazing. This stuff was great. For a moment, I really wanted Javon to win. But then when I saw Penta win, I wasn't upset at it because everybody was so good in this match. I genuinely think you could have put it on anybody, and I would not have been upset. The only critique I have is that I think Penta won it too easy. He got up the ladder to get the title too easy at the end. I would have liked to have seen Javon try to fight his way up and then do one last thing up there to really kind of put Javon over as getting this close. But I digress. I think the match was absolutely phenomenal. A lot of people believe that the standout, the best match of night 1 was Gunther Seth, which is fair. And I originally thought that could be match of the weekend. And then I watched this match and then I thought, nope, this one just blew everything. The ladder match on its own was better than everything on night 1. Period.
I may just have not seen them due to lag the way I was watching it, but I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but did we see Dragon, Rusev, and JD's entrance, or did I just not see it?
No, they came back from their unlimited fucking ad breaks, even with the countdown being at 0, then played 2 more commercials. Glad I paid $40 for this bundle. And then they were already all 3, 2 in the ring and Rusev on the outside.
Okay, so that's just fucking ridiculous because it's Wrestle Goddamn Mania. Why are you not gonna just show everyone's entrance? You do it for every other match except this one. You did it at in the 6 or the Fatal 4-Way tag match yesterday. So why not do it with these 3 that you always don't show their entrance with on Monday Night Raw? Stupid as fuck. But amazing debut for Javon Evans. I could not see a better way to debut him at WrestleMania. I loved his gear. I don't know why, but his gear gave me SpongeBob vibes. I don't know why. It may have just been the pink and the yellow and the blue, but absolutely loved Penta's entrance and entrance gear. I really like the samurai like mask. That looked really great. Would have liked to see some different colors for like his actual gear. I feel like we always see red from him. Ray's gear is good. It's amazing actually. I like that Rusev went back to the trunks instead of the really short shorts because he did those and they always somehow just ended up being trunks. But the match was amazing. I mean, just rest in peace, JD, because he does not get enough for the amount of shit he gets put through. Just I'm he does not get enough props. Where am I at? I just lost where I'm at. If anyone is to retire Ray, if it's true that Ray is retiring soon, which I think it is, I changed my opinion real quick in the match. Yes, one of them should still be Dom, but the other absolutely has to be Dragon Lee. I mean, yes, we've been telling the thing, oh, he's the next Rey Mysterio. No, in this match, I feel like he is the next Rey Mysterio, if not Penta. But I thought Rusev was too aggressive in this match. Um, I also didn't like a lot of the Javon Evans landings. They just looked too risky to me. Wade Barrett was absolutely wild in the entire night and the match. He's a national treasure. I like the way the ref was always checking in on Ray due to his history with always getting injured. And another key detail that I like, Michael Cole put this on commentary, that AJ Styles gifted the Styles Clash to Dragon Lee, which was so amazing and just showed the absolute like amazing friendship between the two. I wasn't the happiest that Penta won. Yes, it made sense. And I mean he just won it basically. But I would have loved to see Javon do it. I mean, that would have been an even better way to debut him at WrestleMania with an already great debut.
Real quick, to mention those ab tires, Penta was, I believe, paying homage to Shao Kahn for the new Mortal Kombat movie coming up. So it wasn't directly a samurai, it was Shao Kahn's mask. And two, for those who couldn't catch it, because I pointed out to my brother because he was trying to tell, and I was like, how do you not know this? You're a massive comic book fan. Rey Mysterio was paying homage to Deadpool.
Yeah.
So,
So my biggest thing on this is I would love for three men not to be wearing the same damn color in a six-man ladder match. Because Penta, Dragon Lee, and Rey Mysterio were all wearing red. So at some points it got a little bit confusing to catch up here and there, but it still ended up being Penta on the top, in which I absolutely love. But the biggest thing I popped for didn't even happen in the match. It happened during the entrances. I'm going to gladly say this in the form of lyrics that we haven't heard in a hot minute. Who's that jumping out the sky? Good old Rey Mysterio popping out the floor again, in which he hasn't done in a hot minute. So I am so happy that he pulled that out, especially with the fact that reports are saying that he's retiring later this year. So this could possibly be his final WrestleMania. And if that's the case, him popping out one last time, absolutely perfect. Javon Evans, holy crap, dude. You did the riskiest crap, including that clothesline that came out of nowhere onto JD McDonagh when JD was on the ladder. I'm like, holy crap, dude. That is highly risky, but it ended up paying off. I am not mad that Penta won. In fact, I had a feeling he would. In my notes, when I wrote down all of my predictions, I said either Penta or Javon Evans. Mainly because of the fact that, as it was stated during Javon's entrance, if he won this ladder match, he would be the youngest title holder in WWE history.
God damn, I can't believe I missed that. Rey Mysterio did that. Who's that jumping out the sky?
Who's that popping out the sky? R-E-Y, let's go Rey Mysterio.
Oh, goddamn. I missed that, bro. I would have popped big for that, but
I'm glad he didn't
yeah.
tweak his knee on the landing.
Same, bro. For
I've
real.
had surgery 5 times in my left knee. Please don't try this at home.
Hey, bro, we don't sound like that, bro.
Yeah, bro, we don't sound like that, bro.
Hey, wait, we don't sound like that way.
Orale, Sasuke.
Finn Balor, nay. The Demon versus Dominik Mysterio. And a new... It was a no DQ match. Since when was this a fucking no DQ match? I had no idea until I started seeing these motherfuckers pull out chairs and fucking all kinds of shit. I was like, wait a goddamn minute, bro. Hold on. Pause. So, Finn Balor is doing the Demon. That's already a gimmick. And on top of that, they added another gimmick with the no DQ, bro. Like, seriously, dog, what are we doing, bro? I love Dom, I love Finn, but the fact that they added the no DQ stipulation to me kind of felt like the main point of this match was the Demon. That was the gimmick. But they added the no DQ on top of that, and I was just like, okay, fuck this. I'm done. What did you guys think about it?
I mean, if you want to be technical, it's all gimmick. They're all in a gimmick. The matches are a gimmick. So it doesn't really matter, in my opinion. But I thought the Demon shit was great. Thought Dom was fine, although I did not like the close-up of the throne they had him on because they did the over-the-shoulder. I just saw a bunch of fucking shit that looked like a bunch of plywood thrown together, and I was like, that's sloppy. You could have painted it or, put some like Bondo or something over those nail holes or whatever. But the match itself, I thought was decent. It wasn't the greatest thing ever. I was more annoyed that this was the payoff of the feud because I feel like they mishandled the feud because I said this before, but ever since they kicked Finn out of the Judgment Day, most of this feud took place between Dom and backstage segments running away and hiding and bitching to Adam Pearce, and Finn doing promos via video package. And I would have really liked to have seen these guys at least fucking once or twice, face to face in a ring, cutting promos on each other on Monday Night Raw to build this feud more, because they spent most of the build of this feud separated from each other. And I thought that was just so dumb. And honestly, as cool as the Demon is, the feud didn't have enough build, in my opinion, to warrant the Demon. The Demon is something Finn always pulls out when he's reached, the edge of like, okay, if I'm gonna take this all the way, you've really dug down and ripped something out of me. I'm gonna dig down and pull the Demon out. Like, the Demon is someone you pull out for Roman Reigns. The Demon is someone you pull out for Seth Rollins in a Universal Championship match. The Demon is someone you pull out for Brock Lesnar. You pulled the Demon out because Dom and his friends beat you up a little and then talk some trash, and you don't even have a title on the line. And I'm like, that's what it took to poke the bear for the Demon. It's a cool visual, but I just thought the Demon was, as cool as he is, unnecessary because the feud had not built enough, in my opinion, to the point where he was a necessity for Finn to win. And in my opinion, I think the feud needed another 3 weeks before the Demon would have been necessary. When it comes down to it, the match I thought was okay. It was fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't the best thing ever. It was a good match. The finish was fine. Coup de grace through the table. I am surprised no one from the Judgment Day run down to help Dom cheat.
No stakes.
No Roxanne Perez, no Liv Morgan, no Raquel Rodriguez, not even JD, who was just out there moments ago. Like, I was surprised they literally left Dom to his own devices. And again, it was here, it's over. Let's get Finn into the main event now.
Dom's entrance reminded me of something Triple H would have done with the giant ass throne and all the people wearing the mask that he wears over on AAA and sometimes on the main roster. I laughed whenever Dom threw the mask at Cole and what liquid they were talking about in Dom's mask. I mean, just you could obviously assume that it's probably sweat, but just Wade Barrett had to keep talking, so that's what made me laugh. It's always great to see the Demon. Would have liked to see this in a Hell in a Cell, and I don't know why I mentioned this part in my notes without mentioning another part. I thought he was going to do something that Bray did when he was the Fiend and like use basically what looks like Bray's head as the lantern. I thought he was going to use the heart lantern thing as like an actual lantern that he can hold, but he just tapped it. But I thought this would have been better in a Hell in a Cell because that's where the demon always does great in my opinion. Maybe if they get another match, which I can definitely see them doing, but I don't think it would be the demon again. I could see them doing that. But I'm getting kind of tired of street fight matches because I mean that's what we feel that's what seems like we get all the time is oh, you know what? Y'all have been going at it for weeks. Oh, street fight. Oh, y'all two hate each other? Street fight. But the last street fight that I actually enjoyed was Priest and Balor, which that was great. But one question I do have for my final thought is how did Balor get the entirety of his mouth just stained black? That's my final thought and question.
I have to jump in here respectfully. So we constantly see quotes from like who is it? Nick Khan, right? Who they're like, we don't listen to the IWC. We don't listen to the fans. We do stuff.
Oh, the 3R speech he gave, the three
What
R's
what,
they
what
follow.
was that?
It's records, revenue, and something else.
Some bullshit like that. Relevancy. Relevancy is the other one, right? We do stuff what we think is what's best for business. Yet they're doing all these fucking no DQ matches, fucking no holds bar matches out of nowhere, just so the fans can chant, "We want tables, we want," and it's like, bro, like you guys claim that you guys don't do shit based on what the fans want to see, but yet the fans want to see tables, the fans want to see kendo sticks and this and that and the other, and you're giving it to them, bro. So which one is it?
By the way, the dumbest chant, in my opinion, in all of pro wrestling is the "We Want Tables" chant. I find it more annoying than the "What" chant. Fans chant that shit to troll when they're bored with a match. Like, I mean, for fuck's sakes, like you're in a one-on-one match. We want tables. It's like, dude, this is a fucking regular, like, first fall wins match. What are you talking about? And at the end of the day, I find it funny because Triple H went through all that work of having Drew McIntyre and CM Punk bring back the intensity, revitalizing and making the Hell in a Cell relevant again, showing that it is a payoff match type. It is not it should not be an entire gimmick PLE. He went through all that. And they go through the spiels on like Unreal, less is more. And well, the reason we don't cuss all the time is because you do it all the time. It doesn't mean anything. And we don't use blood all the time because we use it all the time. It doesn't mean anything. But then we've got fucking 15 no DQ weapons matches and it's only April. And we've had like 8 of them in the last month and a half, so you can't have both sides. It's either less is more or you're just going to do it because you think the stipulation sells more tickets because you think fans just want to see a car crash. And here's the thing. Fans would want to see that car crash if you still had your diehard wrestling fans be the majority demographic in your buildings. But because you have priced out the hardcore fans, you are filling those stadiums with a fuck ton of casuals who don't overly, it's cool the first time, but like your regular fans, like this is not ECW, So pick a side, WWE. Either it's less is more or we do it just because we ran out of ideas and we think it'll pop the crowd.
What sucks the most is the fact that this street fight was just randomly in there. It was originally just Dominik Mysterio versus Demon Finn Bálor, which would have been a banger match on its own. And then all of a sudden, day of, guess what? You are street fight. Like, stop it. No, it did not need that stipulation. Just the two of them alone, mixed with the history that these two has had, that's all it needed. It didn't need the street fight stipulation.
That's the problem right there, Tommy, right there. I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm going to make a point. They felt it needed it because they dropped the ball on the rest of the build. Had they had built this, had they had kept Dom and Finn at each other's throats since they kicked Finn out, had them face-to-face more, had them interfere, had them break up each other's matches, had them attack the other, had it get so visceral, had a pull-apart brawl, anything to build any of the other matches they built the same exact fucking way, to ramp up the intensity instead of having Finn cut most of his fucking his promos on Dom through video packages and have Dom bitch to Adam Pearce for 4 fucking weeks and then run around backstage in the clubhouse. These guys never had a face-to-face promo after they beat Finn down. They never face-to-face after that. That was like a month and a week ago. Had they actually built this shit up, it wouldn't have needed the stip. But it needed the stip so fans would care more about it. And that's where they went fucking wrong. Sorry, Tommy. Go ahead.
You're all good. But my girlfriend looks over at my phone while I'm watching Dominik's entrance, and she just looks at it and just goes, why does it look like there are a bunch of stormtroopers coming out? So it's because of how that mask is set up. It looks like a damn stormtrooper helmet, which is really funny to me. The fact that that was her initial response. But this match, I liked it. It was fine. The biggest thing was that all it needed was the Demon, a man that we have not seen at WrestleMania since WrestleMania 39 in Hollywood and that Hell in a Cell match against Brood Edge. So there's that. It did not need the street fight stipulation.
No, it definitely didn't. I mean, I always feel like those types of stipulations, for the most part, nowadays are not needed, but sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. However, Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley for the WWE Women's Championship. At some point during this match, it turned into a 3-on-1 because B-Fab and Michin came out. But Io Sky came out to a huge pop to even out the odds. And what do you know? Rhea Ripley fucking defeated Jade Cargill, which that I was not expecting that at all whatsoever. I thought for sure I had my money on Jade Cargill, but Rhea Ripley said, Edgar, put your money where your mouth is, bro. I am going to become new WWE Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley. How did you guys feel about this one?
I think Rhea got the best match out of Jade that she could. And that says a lot because this match was pretty middle of the road. It wasn't anything special. Here's the thing too. It almost feels to me like because of Jade's backstage like antics, all the reports of her ego, the heat she had, the shit that apparently she did in fact like she wasn't supposed to do with Rhea, going on Twitter and saying that shit that apparently was real heat. And just that she's apparently backstage for a while been, you know, like people go out of their way to avoid her because they just don't like her energy. She's not very well received by the boys and girls backstage. It just feels like when I watched this match, I thought the right decision is that Jade keeps it. So, because you just built her a whole new heel stable. why would you automatically have her drop the title if you were building her up like as some person to follow in that of B-Fab and Michin? And then now we have to deal with Rhea getting drugged over to SmackDown away from Io, where she should be staying on Raw, and because she's just so much more Raw coded. And then the whole time I just couldn't help feeling like when Rhea won, I just thought, wow, I feel like maybe someone in the back is trying to knock Jade down a peg and cheat and humble her. That's what I thought. It literally felt like that because the most sense to be made out of this is Jade retains. Why else would you give her the stable? Why else would you have her pin Io clean? Why else would you? Because if Rhea can beat Jade, how come Rhea can't beat Io? But Jade can beat Io first try. It doesn't make sense. So I think that someone backstage or the writing or whatever, we're thinking, we need to cool Jade off a bit. We need to knock her down a peg, humble her, let Rhea have the title on SmackDown for a while so Jade can get an example of what we expect out of her. That's what this felt like to me because I genuinely don't think there was any reason to put it on Rhea. Rhea didn't fucking need it.
Yep, I think Jade is raiding Seth Rollins' closet because once again, what the fuck was she wearing? Disregarding that, it's been a while since we've seen Rhea in an all-white attire, not counting her War Games because that was both white, black, and red. So don't come at me. I'm just kidding. Why would you come at me? Unrelated to this, I'd like to say that Alicia Taylor is a way better ring announcer than Samantha Irving was. Yes, Samantha Irving had the energy, but Alicia actually feels like a WWE announcer to me. That's just in my opinion. But going on to the match, I like how, in my opinion, Jade felt better in the ring. Like, she didn't need anyone to call spots. At least I didn't see any of that for her. I like that spine buster that she did. Jade mocking Rhea by pinning Rhea, how she pins people. I forgot what she called that. The ending of the match was really clean. I liked Rhea sliding through Jaded into the Riptide, and thank God, no, not for the New Day, but that Jade is no longer champion. I could not stand through that anymore, and I am so happy that Rhea is champion.
Rhea is champion. Thank God. Plain and simple on that. Rhea is just a better champion than Jade Cargill. Snug, you can give me the bird all you want. It's true. Rhea Ripley is a way better champion than Jade Cargill. Finally, that stupid ass experiment is over.
Yeah, but now if I want to see Rhea, I got to suffer through 3 hours of SmackDown to figure out what part of the show she's on. So boo for that because she's better on Raw. Raw's the better show. She's the biggest star in the women's division. She belongs in the biggest show of the fucking company. And also,
give her to Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, and also here's
Fuck no.
Well, maybe Rhea can get a good match out of her. But also, here's the thing. I'm also just annoyed because at the end of the day, it should have been Jade so we could keep Rhea with Io because there needs to be some payoff to that. But also, I hate saying it. This is Rhea's worst WrestleMania match. Think of all the matches she's had at Mania with, she had 2 with Charlotte. She had one with, the one last year was fucking fantastic. It's just when you look at all of those that she's had since she's come up to the main roster, this shit is such a fucking downgrade because her opponent is turtle shit green Jade. I feel like she dragged Rhea's WrestleMania aura down. I really do.
I'm clipping that.
The biggest thing here, though, is I am with blood on this, that if Jade can beat Io and Rhea can beat Jade, what the hell is she doing wrong that she can't beat Io. It makes no sense there. By process of the mortal triangle, Rhea should be able to beat Io Sky. She literally just beat someone who beat Io clean. Like within the last
look, Tommy, she should be. Here's the thing: she should be able to beat Io easy because she beat Jade with barely any difficulty, and Jade decisively dominated Io.
This whole
Like that's
thing
the
should
ridiculous
lead.
part.
This whole thing should lead to Io versus Rhea, right? We're gonna have to see that match eventually.
Yeah, but that
Get a
means
draft,
Rhea.
put
That
Io
means
on
that
Smack.
Rhea. That means that Rhea would need to finally beat Io too. But then you're killing Io's aura.
No,
Because
it doesn't.
yes,
it doesn't.
because at some point,
can you imagine for a PLE, Rhea versus Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, the WWE Women's Champion, has never been able to beat Io Sky. That's
what I'm saying. But then in that match, you would need Rhea to finally do it. But then it's the continuity issue. Oh, I can finally beat you, even though Jade ran through you like wet toilet paper on free TV. And then I basically kicked her ass at WrestleMania with barely any difficulty, even though it took me fucking 25 minutes to beat Charlotte Flair. It just doesn't make sense. This is also going to kill Io's aura. She lost 2 matches in a row last week, one of them to Jade, one to Kairi Sane. And now she's supposed to go on and lose to Rhea? Come on.
No one cares about Kairi Sane, first of all, Mr. Blood.
No, but the record books show that Io has now lost to her.
I would pay to see Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky. I would.
I would too, but not if it's a detriment to Io's aura and everything they've done with her, because you can't just put her on a losing streak. Come on.
But
she is 0-2. You're right. You're right.
The biggest thing that needs to happen is a draft, as we've been saying for the past year, seriously.
Like that's gonna happen.
To happen. Like, yeah, sure, seriously, like that's gonna happen. But at this point, it is desperate. It needs to happen. There's
I agree
about it.
I agree. I told my brother earlier, the moment that Rhea won, I said, please do a draft so Rhea can stay on Raw. I literally said, please let Rhea stay on Raw. Fuck.
I don't mean to interrupt, but remember with the drafts, champions stay on their brand, so she would stay on SmackDown.
They change the rules every 5 minutes. I hope they can change
True.
This. Fuck. All right, let's move on.
Let's move on. Before we get out of here, I completely skipped one of my favorite matches of the night. We got a new United States. I can't even speak. I'm so excited. United States champion Trick Williams versus Sami Zayn. There was a lot of shenanigans involved in this match, fellas, because good old little Yachty decided to be the best manager in WWE today, getting involved, trying to cheat. But Trick Williams, he was amazing tonight. Whoop that Trick, the new United States champion, y'all. I was so happy about this outcome. What the hell, bro? I was shocked. But man, this was really entertaining from top to bottom, if I'm being honest.
How much did you drink? This match was shit. What are we talking about here? Hold on, I'm about to go the fuck off. Hold the fucking phone. This match was dog shit. On top of the fact, look, good for Trick. He won at WrestleMania. He's now a champion. Fan-fucking-tastic. He got his ass kicked the entire fucking match. Sami took 80% of this match, was beaten and pillar to fucking post. And the only reason Trick won was because Lil Yachty got in the way. But literally, Sami was beating the fucking shit out of Trick. He dog-walked him. So now all I'm thinking is that Trick, he's a one-trick pony. Like, what I'm thinking is that when I walked out, when this match ended, the first thing I thought was, wow, Trick got lucky. Trick got lucky with the trick shot. He needed help to beat Sami. That's what I thought. He not only did he get his ass beat by Sami for 80% of the match, he then needed help to make sure that he won. It made Trick look weak. He's a great character, phenomenal performer, amazing. He was going to lose, and he was losing hard until Little Yachty got involved. What are we fucking talking about? Glad the match is over. Glad Trick's the champ. Good for him. He did not. I do not buy him as a champion when you get your ass beat this hard after a month of talking shit.
I'm talking about the greatest United States champion of all time, Trick Willie Baby. That's what I'm talking about right there. He
Not even close.
defeated Sami Zayn clean all by himself with no help whatsoever. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Except you literally set this up and mentioned the help from Little Yachty.
Oh, did I?
Yes, you did.
Oh, God damn it. Okay.
Mr. Contrarian.
Go ahead, Tox.
Yeah, Snug, you need to drink some water. I think you're a little bit too drunk.
No, that's bad for you.
Yeah, I know. I'm not stupid. But I liked Sammy's gear. Trick's entrance was underwhelming as hell. I thought it was going to be some massive ass entrance, but it was just Little Yachty. That's underwhelming as hell. I did like his massive ass jacket though. It looked like some shit that you would see at a wedding. I miss Booker T on commentary though, going to like when the crowd is doing whoop that trick, what? Whoop that trick. Yeah, I miss that. That's just prime Trick Williams. Lil Yachty ain't doing it for me. I just don't like him whatsoever. I feel like if you want to give Trick Williams a good match with the United States Championship, either give him Carmelo Hayes or the newcomer, and what I think is going to be the future of SmackDown in general, Royce fucking Keys. That is a good match. Trick Williams versus Royce Keys. You can't tell me that wouldn't be a good match. This match at first felt like a match you would see on Raw or SmackDown, but then it felt like a Mania match to me, like in the later going of the match. I am starting to get annoyed with Sami, and that's because of the whole I don't know what I did wrong. Genuinely, I don't even know what he did wrong. But it's just the underdog story, time after time after time after time again. Just give the man a world fucking title, and Trick deserved the United States Championship.
Sammy's going to go the next year without a title and then get the fucking world title or something at Mania next year. Because Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, ladies and gentlemen. But I hated this match so much, I only wrote one thing down, which is that I was shocked that there was no Carmelo Hayes to be seen whatsoever. You're telling me that you get screwed out of the United States title by a man that is in this match and you do nothing to get your lick back for that? Nothing at all. At the grandest stage of them all, where you could definitely use even an appearance, you do nothing. I was shocked that Carmelo Hayes was nowhere to be seen.
The weakest match of the night.
But my biggest thing on this, other than that, is Trick Williams' entrance. We were all expecting this massive thing, but no. All we got was the same turntable that he's been on for the last 2 weeks, and a giant bride veil following him around. On the live that I was watching, someone legitimately commented, "Here comes the bride." Just because of the fact that that's exactly what it looked like.
Y'all don't know fashion if it came and smacked y'all across the face, do you? Trick Williams had the best ring gear entrance slash wardrobe in the history of. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that was a little too much. It was a little bit extreme too, but it was entertaining. Um, yeah, we got a new U.S. champion, good old Trick Willie. It's gonna be interesting because I mean I think it's safe to say Carmelo Hayes is most likely gonna come after him, but also I would like to see Sami Zayn still in that United States title picture coming after Trick Williams.
I think this match could have benefited from a few things. I mean, this match, it's not the weakest of the weekend. I think the weakest match of the weekend, when I really turn around and look at it, I think the weakest match of the weekend is Liv versus Stephanie. But I think that this might be the second weakest match of the weekend. Just no Carmelo. This match could have heavily benefited from a double turn right here. This was the perfect place to do a double turn of Sami and Trick. But man, if you're talking worst match of the night, I never thought that I could give Jade Cargill a leg up on anything, no matter how. But she had Rhea, who worked her ass off to make Jade look good. This right here was Trick for months talking shit, got his ass beat for 80 to 90% of the entire match, looked like a chump, needed a rapper's help to distract Sami to get a win for a title. He looked so weak. And that made this match weak as hell. How you going to talk? I'm supposed to believe that you can be a world champion? You were getting your ass beat by a guy who has lost every world title opportunity he's ever had. And you got your ass beat by that guy that you shit on for a month and a half. Dog shit.
Fair enough. Do we want to talk about Danhausen's WrestleMania moment, or should we just call it?
I would rather claw my eyes out with a spoon.
All right, take us home then.
Thank you guys for kicking with us here on another episode of Snug Wrestling. 5 days in a row, we have been out here covering wrestling news, and tomorrow on Monday Night Raw, after Raw, will be the review for that as well. It is the Raw after Mania. Some say it's always the biggest Raw of the year. So let's see what happens. Maybe the bellows turn on Paige. Maybe somebody returns. Maybe some things happen. But if you want to join us tomorrow, you can kick it with us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night after Raw, NXT, and SmackDown go off the air respectively for live post-show reviews. Always on our social medias here on Apple and Spotify, YouTube Live, Instagram Live, and Facebook Live, of course. And always on Thursdays, we do one-on-ones for random and relevant wrestling topics with myself, Mr. Blood, and the head of Snug Wrestling, Edgar. Of course, this week, we will, though, be on the YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Apple, and Spotify because we have a special guest. So we will not be on TikTok Live. But, of course, thank you guys, as always. Support the podcast by heading over to teepublic.com, teepublic.com/snug-wrestling to pick up your Snug Wrestling merch and support the channel. Of course, there's always segment-to-segment reaction content on all of our social media. You can follow us anywhere and everywhere. And guys, thank you for hanging out with us for this entire WrestleMania weekend. That is WrestleMania 42 in the book. Some lows, some highs, but we will catch you in the next one tomorrow night. So that's one time for the one time. I said, boys, that was
4 letters.
4 letters.
1
1
word.
word.
Yeet.